You're not in love, you're in imagination. There's a painful truth you already know but keep avoiding. You're romanticizing someone who barely participates in your life. They show up when they want, disappear when they choose, give attention in small doses, offer affection without commitment, throw crumbs, and you turn them into a feast. Stoicism calls this what it is: a distortion of perception. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not the thing that disturbs you, but your judgment about it." You're not hurt because of who they are. You're hurt because of what you believe they could be. You're not in love with the person. You're in love with the potential. Why you romanticize someone who barely shows up? This pattern has roots deeper than you think. Let's break it down. 1. You confuse effort with meaning. They text you at midnight. They compliment you once in a while. They show interest when they're lonely. You see these small actions as signals of depth. But consistency is the real measure of love. Anything less is charity wrapped in desire. 2. You're filling in the blanks with fantasy. They give you fragments. And your mind builds a whole story. You imagine their intentions, their hidden feelings, their possible transformation, your future together. But you're writing the story alone. They haven't shown up for it. Seneca said, "We are more often frightened than hurt. And in love, we are more often in fantasy than reality." 3. Their inconsistency feels like mystery. The less they give, the more your mind tries to decode them. Silence becomes depth. Distance becomes complexity. Coldness becomes trauma. Inconsistency becomes chemistry. You create meaning where there is none. 4. You want the version of them they never became. You're attracted to what they could be, what they might be, what they would be if life had shaped them differently. It's not them you want. It's the version your imagination built. And that version only exists in your mind. 5. You mistake emotional hunger for emotional connection. When you're lonely, bare minimum effort feels like intimacy. A simple "how are you?" feels like affection. A late night call feels like devotion. A little attention feels like closeness. But it's not closeness. It's scarcity. And scarcity distorts reality. 6. You hope they will eventually choose you. Hope keeps you stuck. You think, if I stay long enough, they'll finally see my worth. But people don't change because you wait. They change because they decide to grow. Waiting is not loyalty. It's self-abandonment. The Stoic reality check. A Stoic doesn't fall for illusions. A Stoic examines. Epictetus said, "If someone is not acting according to their nature, do not expect otherwise." If someone's nature is inconsistent, avoidant, distant, unclear, your expectations won't change that. Reality doesn't bend for your hope. How to stop romanticizing them? Here's the Stoic method to break the illusion. 1. Focus on their actions, not your fantasies. Words mean little. Presence means everything. Reality is measured by consistency. 2. Take everything at face value. If they care, you'll know. If they don't, you'll feel confused. Confusion is clarity. 3. Stop narrating excuses for them. He's busy. She's scared. They have trauma. They need time. No. If they wanted to, they would. Stop building a story to protect your hopes. 4. Give energy only to those who reciprocate. Connection requires 2 people. Fantasy requires 1. If you're doing all the emotional work, you're not in a relationship. You're in a projection. 5. Recognize what your heart is trying to fix. You're not drawn to them. You're drawn to the wound they activate. Heal the wound, and they lose their charm. Modern reflection. People today love the idea of love more than the reality of it. We project. We fantasize. We imagine someone's depth, based on the smallest glimpses of attention. But a Stoic sees clearly. If someone barely shows up, there is nothing to romanticize. Love is effort. Love is presence. Love is consistency. What you're holding on to is an illusion built from loneliness and hope. Practical Stoic exercise. Write this down. What part of them is real? And what part did I invent? Then ask, if they treated a stranger the way they treat me, would I still call it love? This question cuts through delusion. Final reflection. You're not in love with them. You're in love with the possibility of them. A possibility that exists only in your mind. Stop romanticizing the people who barely participate. Stop giving depth to those who remain shallow. Stop creating stories around people who don't show up for the role. Choose clarity over fantasy. Choose presence over potential. Choose love that's real, not imagined.